Hello pilots, I'm Faded Pez and I'm here to bring you the roundup for update 1.2. We're extremely excited to release our very first operation, codenamed Miru. Miru features squad-based instance combat where your team's decision early on will determine your path. The Chosen are looking to make a return to Coral Forest and have marked the supply platform south of Thump Dump as their priority target. You'll definitely want to enlist the help of other Ares pilots to defend against this strike. In addition to attacking the supply platform, Chosen will also be attacking watchtowers in Coral Forest and Sertau in an attempt to establish a foothold in those areas. The Accord has also constructed 2 additional watchtowers in Sertau to assist in scouting out potential Chosen attacks. That wraps it up for this update's major items. Be sure to check out our patch notes for a full list of additions and changes. Let's dive right into a deeper discussion about Operation Miru and increased Chosen activity in the open world with members from our design team. Today we are joined by Associate Designer Alex Schaefer, Senior Level Designer Derek Warner, and our Design Director Scott Rudy.
Hey.
How are you guys doing today?
Good, thanks.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about operations, or more specifically Operation Miru, and the open world, the additions to the open world content, specifically the Chosen attacks.
Yeah, on the watchtowers and the cargo shuttle encounter.
Yeah, really exciting stuff.
Big.
Let's kick it off with operations. Operation Miru is the first type of content of its kind in Firefall. It's still squad-based instance content, but it's got a twist to it compared to the other instance content we've previously released.
Yeah, definitely repeatable instance content comes with its level requirement, which the first one will be at level 40, so baked in end-level content coming in, and it also has a hard mode, so you come back hopefully much more geared up, powerful, people know what they're doing with the encounter. And when you play it, it actually has some random elements into it to really help increase the replayability and the fun factor of it.
So this first operation, Operation Miru, has the Accord sending you in because this large mining facility deep in Devil's Tusk has seems like something big could be, trying to be awoken. So
it's an old Accord military base that was abandoned at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got new tenants. Both of which are hostile to the player and the Accord, but also they're hostile to each other. And maybe that's enough. Let the players figure it out from there. I think they'll be shocked and happy.
Yeah, definitely.
Going back to what you said about having a different experience between 2 different groups, do the players have control over that experience?
Yes, branching paths will generally not be something that's just completely random. It could be something the players do. It could be something that's easily noticeable to players that, oh, if we definitely go this direction, it could lead us down a different path. It could be something more hidden, but that the players are still controlling.
Some general things start off with a shared area where the players make their choice, and then ending up with maybe 2 different versions of mini-boss battles. Get some challenge in there, plus some random spawns and other neat little things to keep it fresh no matter how many times you play it.
That's definitely going to be interesting. I like doing the squad-based instance stuff. And did we go more squad-heavy with these? Is this something we want players to solo?
Yeah, I think we're going to be trending a little bit more towards requiring 4 or 5 people in that squad, unless you're really, really good and really, really geared up. But you should be prepared to go into this thing with a full squad of 5, try to think about your squad's composition, and really just take it seriously. We're starting to increase the skill level requirements and the rewards.
It was a pretty interesting hurdle, though, having these branching paths, having all that in one area, all tied together with different encounters interlocking with each other. So that was a bit of a hurdle.
So nothing really too crazy or too new with this one, so?
I'm sure it was a scripting encounter challenge, as well as a level layout challenge of basically how do we message that with the different paths, and actually doing, each path is actually radically different from each other. One is more of a natural terrain, the other is a built-up, try not to give too much away here, but more as more of a built-up area.
We decided to go into SketchUp and just kind of get a paper design for it first, because both of these paths have to happen basically in the same area, and so we needed to be able to see those really quickly of where they're going to drive the player in which direction, so they can tie back in together later in the mission.
What kind of general practices did you use when building out the layout, when you were laying out Miru for the first time?
We wanted to make sure that we give opportunities for the different types of battle frames in each encounter area that we were building, and also give them kind of a overview when they get into these areas to see the area before they go and engage the enemies to drive which direction possibly their path is going to go.
I love ours and other games that actually do that, where you can get to a position and kind of look at the lay of the land, the enemy composition, and kind of mentally plan out. It's like, okay, you know, and talking with my squad mates, okay, I'm going to do this, you need to cover me or take that. And it's kind of a neat little planning tactics moment.
Yeah, that's one thing I found with Operation Mirror specifically, even in testing when we were first going through it, we weren't really coordinating ourselves. So it was just like, I got this part, you go to that part.
Yeah, I remember getting my butt kicked the first time. It's like, I'm just going to jump in. Oh my God.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out that well.
It was great. It was refreshing.
Yeah, the operation really rewards players who can act as a team. There might be certain scenarios where your team has to split up to kind of cover two different objectives at the same time.
That's interesting too, because specifically like when you're building for even the classes, you have the Dragonfly, for example, who's your support class, or even an Electron, or someone who could shield and provide support and buffs to your teammates. You might find them bouncing back and forth a lot. It's safe to assume that Operation Mirror is not going to be the last of its kind by a long shot.
Definitely not. We're planning on having operations to start off with. We're going to be hitting at a couple of level milestones, 10, 20, 30. Operation Mirror is the 40th level one. But future operations will cover all areas of Firefall. They'll be in Coral Forest, Sertau, Devil's Tusk at the very least. And every single operation will also have a hard mode. So even if you go to the level 10 operation when you're just starting out the game and you play that, you'll have something to come back to once you're level 40. And it'll be hopefully an entirely different, much harder experience for you.
That's awesome. So can we expect that to have like changes in the encounters? Maybe not so drastic, but like maybe safety valves turned off, or bigger bosses, or bigger mobs, as it were.
It'll probably change the mobs you'll fight, as well as you could have extra objectives that you need to complete, or the objectives that you were completing the first time you played it are now just more extensive.
Shorter timers, of course, health and damage buffs. And we'll try to slip in some actual encounter changes as well, just a little bit of twist on the firefights.
I noticed with Miru, we actually have an optional objective, and maybe that could be something where that's no longer optional, it's required to complete.
Quite possibly, yes.
Having branching paths can allow us to do some unique things possibly in the future of being able to see what's happening on the other front that you're not currently playing through, but and your second playthrough you may be on the other side of the battle.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. So you guys could check out our first operation in 1.2. It should be out right now, actually. So go out there, check out Operation Miru. Why don't we get into what we're doing with the open world with this update? After launch, we found that Orbital Comm Tower really resonated well with our players. They really enjoyed that type of content. So we decided to go ahead and make a similar encounter or an encounter of that type, magnitude, epicness for Coral Forest.
Yeah, that's actually, so we were just talking about the operations, having the special kind of content for instances and linear, branching, but still, orchestrated combat encounters and stuff like that. And so the opposite is these big, huge open world encounters. And so as most of our players know, the OCT in Sertau, our mid-level zone, it's basically when the Chosen are trying to take out this communications tower in the middle of Sertau. It's a big Accord asset. And so you first fight this big boss at the central location, and then the players have to disperse into 3 separate locations and protect these basically communication relays that allow for a counterattack by the Accord. It really requires a lot of players working in cooperation with each other. And what we saw is that the amount of interest and fun people were having wasn't just because it was a rewarding experience. People actually enjoyed this and playing in large groups for shared objectives. We basically said, okay, let's see if we could do that in another place and see how it goes. And so we had enough going on in Devil's Tusk for the moment that we actually said, okay, let's put in something in Coral Forest, because we want to identify when people start hitting content fatigue a little bit. Okay, I'm shooting a lot of bandits now, and time for something a little different. Well, bam, giant encounter that the whole zone can actually take part in. And people who are very familiar with the OCT encounter will see some similarities. Basically, zone-wide, everyone will get the alert that the Chosen are going to be attacking this critical facility. Some of the backstory on it, this is one of the main supply origins for a lot of the forward bases there. And so you got the Accord shipping supplies using shielded dropships that go to, say, Devil's Tusk and other melding pockets. And the Chosen, of course, can't have that. So they go and they try to capture and or destroy the shuttle facilities as well as the shuttle itself. So, of course, the Accord knows they're coming and everybody needs to go help defend it. And, they require each other to succeed. So some people have to take care of this over here while other players need to be, attacking the principal objective.
It seems like that's sort of the theme we've come to realize with our open world content, especially the large scale stuff.
Yeah.
You're talking about Orbital Comm Tower or this new Thump Thump Supply Station. Mm-hmm. It's taken from lessons we've learned early on where it helps when you disperse the players out, so you're splitting them up. So those are the kind of considerations we have to take into account when we're building that kind of content. Is there what other kind of considerations we have to take into account? Because you don't know if it's going to start out with only 3 players there and then 100 are going to show up like halfway through, or it's going to start out with like 100 people just camping out.
Absolutely. Actually, one of the things that we learned is it's okay if only 3 people show up, that it's a failure condition. I mean, it's important that the players, if they don't pull their end, to lose. Mm-hmm. And so it makes it actually that much more important and more real for a lot of the open world stuff. It's just basically people lose out on what benefits this could provide them, especially in rewards. Just the other night, I played, the first time I can remember, a failed OCT, where we just didn't have somebody, there's always that, one of those stations, I think it's Gamma, that always gets a little bit light coverage. Mm-hmm. And we had 3 people there, and we just couldn't hold it. And we ran out of time, and it was like, come on, where, and there's, the chat was really interesting after that, because it was pointing fingers, and oh my God, and,
That's interesting, because you're right, OCT, I don't think anyone's failed since early on in launch.
It was pretty hilarious, and of course Alpha was well defended, and so people just weren't working together. Mm-hmm. They had well over a dozen people covering the one, and so the players were not communicating, weren't working together on the large scale cooperative action, and emphasis on cooperative. You need to cooperate, communicate, and really hold the objectives. So this will be another one. You guys got to work together and really be a team as you complete this content.
So what kind of repercussions can the players expect should they fail at defending the supply?
They'll be banned.
They'll be banned.
Yeah, if we detect that you were actually logged in within any of the level bands near it, we'll say, well, okay, we obviously can't use it to defend
Drop the ball, guys.
Yes. So it's a free game. They can create another character. There's no real penalty.
It would be hard after we shut off their Steam account, though.
That's true. That's true. It is bound, isn't it?
Yeah. Die in the game, you die for real.
It's true. At the very least, we can nuke their computer.
Probably.
But as far as repercussions, I mean, most of it is just you missed out on a terrific opportunity for rewards, experience, et cetera, et cetera. So as far as actually any kind of a negative penalty or anything, probably not so much, But I think just the missed opportunity will be punishment or retribution for a lot of people.
We have future plans, maybe in another video, where players can learn about stuff where they will actually get punished for losing encounters.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So in addition to this, we also have added a couple more watchtowers to Sertau, and we've brought back the Chosen coming in and taking these watchtowers. What's different about these Chosen?
Well, this is a new type of watchtower capture mechanic. It's kind of a special one. So basically the Chosen are, hey, watchtowers are important to the Accord. Let's, mess with them. And so they've got some new technology, or at least technology they haven't been using for 4, to actually project a melding bubble in there that expels anyone who's already in the watchtower out of it. Yeah, hi. And so the players at that point need to go in and basically take out the assets that are empowering the melding bubble. And then once that's gone, they're able to actually fight the Chosen that are inside. And it's going to be kind of tough. We'll probably have synchronized watchtower captures at the same time, so a couple different places in the zone at the same time, which is one of the reasons we added more in Sertau, or else it's always the same 2 at the same time. It's kind of like
Right.
But we want players to be like, okay, I'm here and I have the decision to go to that one or that one. And also we don't want people to, we don't have the scale of one of these OCT or cargo shuttle invasions with the actual building that we're using. So we do need to disperse a little. We can't have 100 players all jump onto a watchtower. Or we could, that would be awesome and fun. So really it's just basically, again, smaller scale, but people do have to work as a team. If you're going to try to solo this stuff, you better really bring your A game. But I think it's going to be more appropriate for 5, 10, 15 people.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be great. It sounds like there's going to be a huge tell when there's a watchtower taking over. Like, you're just going to look over and see a melting bubble and be like,
yep.
I could have sworn Jacob's Pass was there 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. They're after
or Escoleto Beach,
yes.
the favorite tower of Beta. I just deemed it that. Okay, well, that's it for our inside look behind the scenes of operations and the open world content that's coming to you in this update 1.2. Thank you guys so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you pilots in game. Enjoy 1.2.